How does this team handle success? We saw it at the end of last year that 8 of 10, and they were led by Dan Campbell, and we saw them keep their heads on straight. They went to Green Bay. We all know the story. But there's been nothing like a road win in Kansas City with 10 days of rest to sit there and read press clippings. How do you think they handle the success of week one?
Well, I have the same questions in my mind, and it's a logical question, and they're going to answer, appropriately. Oh, no, we only won one game, 16 more to go. But every time I think that, well, okay, this is a lot for a team that hasn't, and then I think, well, they have a lot of players who have gone through it before, have won before, including CJ Gardner Johnson and Jared Goff. And again, every time I wonder, Campbell does a great job of calming things down. And talking to Goff yesterday and at his availability, that guy does not give the slightest glimmer of getting ahead of himself at all. Like, it doesn't even want to talk about the interception streak, but not like defiantly, just, it's not even in my mind, the interception list streak. And so I think they have enough veterans that this is not like a young team out of nowhere, oh my God, and they're partying every Friday night going forward. I don't see that at all. The one thing they'll have to monitor or watch out for and probably expect is other teams are going to be coming after them much harder than they have before. And how do you define that? I don't know, but there were some of those games last year late where nobody really gave the Lions much of a chance, and it's probably easier to play that way. But it's also easier to play when people know you're coming, but you're coming with talent and experience and confidence. So I don't think it'll be a big concern. I really don't. But again, it's kind of uncharted waters, at least local. Here's the question, John and Stoney. How are Lions fans going to be able to handle it?
I know. You're right.
I mean, they'll be great. They'll be super loud. Maybe they'll even be wearing ski masks on Sunday. But you've got to ride the edge. You've got to act like you've been there before. And not, they're going to lose a game. They're not going 17-0. I'm
Correct.
On record as that. And when that does happen, you just hope the fan base recognizes, okay, that's that's part of it. It's not anything else other than a good team lost a game, perhaps to another good team.
All right, Wojo, is this hashtag trademark Bob Winowski? Is this the quintessential up-down game?
I was thinking about that, Stoney. The Sea Hags got squished last week. The Lions didn't squish the Chiefs, but got a hugely impressive victory. Setting aside everything else and who played and didn't play in a one-point game, whatever. Incredibly impressive victory. And it's all set up for them, you would think, coming home, the team that has tormented you, scoring 48 points last year. Everything in my heart says, the crowd will be unbelievable. Lions will win. Everything in my head says up-down theory, which trademark, by the way, Stoney owe me $10 because you used my trademark.
I know.
That does give me pause. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals aren't going to be as awful as they were the first game against the Browns. I mean, this is the NFL, and a lot of teams didn't play their starters in the preseason, so nobody's really ready or we know what they are yet. It's a little bit scary. What, a 5.5-point favorite? Who are you taking?
Well, we'll give it on Friday, but I think the Lions are going to win the game. We'll leave it at that. Probably it'll be the quintessential Stoney Lions win. Seattle will cover, but we'll see on Friday. Okay,
fair enough. That's probably actually a smart choice, I think.
When you looked at the game, and yes, defense played good. They held Patrick Mahomes to 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Defensive wise, you could look at it and say, okay, good. And Aiden Hutchinson, good. Secondary, good. Offensive line, good. What is it about this team that you think coming out of game one that you can hang your hat on and say, if I say this, it's not an overreaction, it's actual, it feels more like a fact?
Well, partly, and I think you're spot on, John, partly because there are so many players in areas where you could say, oh, that was good. That was like, honestly, and some people think it's a flaw, but so far it's been a strength. The Lions aren't dominated by one player, like Patrick Mahomes, or Travis Kelce. Oh, the Chiefs lost Kelce. They can't win. No way. I mean, the Lions have some players like that, certainly. I mean, you can't lose Goff, but he doesn't dominate games. They don't need him to dominate to win every game. And it's not like they have the Chicago Bears defense that they're going to kill people, but they have talented players and playmakers at all three levels on defense, including possibly a couple of rookies in Jack Campbell and Brian Branch. So I actually like that aspect. Now, would you like another dominating defensive lineman or another dominating wide receiver? Of course you would. You don't avoid that, but I think that kind of levels it out as much. I don't think they're going to win games with somebody getting 190 yards receiving and Goff throwing 6 touchdowns. I think they're a fairly balanced team, which I think bodes well.
Well, Joe, you mentioned dominant defensive linemen. I don't know if you know this, but John Jansen has officially been radioized or Stoneyized because he's got the app. He downloaded the Stoney app and he's ruining the day that they didn't listen to him and not take Jalen Carter like John wanted.
Well, wait a minute. If Jansen downloads the Stoney app, I have to ask, John, do you have a sister?
No, and don't go there.
Okay, all right. Just checking, because normally when you download the Stoney app, you have to get the entire package of peculiarities. You don't just get to pick one or two.
Yeah, I went a la carte.
Yeah, John's drug-free.
Yes. I've been stoned, but only in regards to the influence.
Right. Yeah, I'm just warning you. I'm warning you. Make sure you get your money back. Jalen Carter, well, yeah, of course. It was very dominant in the first game. And I get that. But again, and I'll just say this. You could argue the one time they Brad Holmes kind of went outside his template for the players that they like and they go after. They might have screwed up with Jamison Williams. Yeah. Now, we don't know for sure, but so far it's not working. And that's an elite, talented guy that doesn't seem like he has the exact same characteristics that they're looking for. And I don't know Jalen Carter, but certainly there are signs not the exact same. Some teams are built differently. Like the Eagles will take anybody from anywhere as long as they're uber talented and they can still play. And that's fine. I get that. That got them to the Super Bowl. They also have seemingly a superstar quarterback. So you can lament it, but I wouldn't take that one to the grave. John, I'd let that go probably after Carter goes into the Hall of Fame.
Okay. All right. At least I've got an end date.
Now, finally, I saw you tweeted or X'd out to the public. You had a great experience at the place John actually suggested, Jack Stack or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Well, besides the burnt ends, I'm thinking of them again now. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Jansen, Stoney, yeah. I can't. Lions fans took over Kansas City. Like, we even asked the Jack Stack people, is this the Wednesday before the game? Boy, you guys are packed. You guys are popular. Always never packed like this on a Wednesday night. They were hanging from lampposts by the end of the trip, I think, and the planes were filled with Lions fans, and that's going to be a big story Sunday. How loud Ford's Field. I'm sorry. Do they wear the Gardner Johnson blue ski masks? Which that's another story entirely. But that's added to the atmosphere, and at the end of the game, and Brad Holmes taking a victory lap too, and that's fun. It won't last forever because eventually you're expected to win those games, and you'll win those games. But if this is really the start of something, it's a tremendous start.